got devil ceremonies on national television. We got balloons flying 60,000 feet in the air from enemy countries spying on us. But what we also have is Article 5. And lots of progress to talk about. We're going to get into all of it right now. Let's play offense.
Doesn't anyone notice this? I feel like I'm taking crazy pills!
I don't want you to ride. I don't want you to write to your congressman because I wouldn't know what to tell you to write. I don't know what to do about the depression and the inflation and the Russians and the crying in the streets. All I know is that first, you've got to get mad.
Has the whole world gone crazy? Am I the only one around here who gives a shit about the rules?
You have the luxury of not knowing what I know.
I want you to get up now. I want all of you to get up out of your chairs. I want you to get up right now and go to the window, open it, and stick your head out and yell, "I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore!"
Welcome aboard, everybody. Welcome aboard for another Wednesday Night Live. I will say that I may be probably going to be cutting this right at the hour today, just because as of 3 p.m. today, my time, which is now 5:30 or 5:35, I have tested positive for COVID. So I'm starting to feel the effects, and I don't know how long it's going to go. But I wanted to give some updates. I was, as you guys know, I was traveling. I tried to give updates from the field while I was traveling to South Carolina. We were doing a road trip for property, and excuse me. And I gave you the updates that Wyoming was progressing, that New Hampshire had passed committee, and that there's a lot of movement going on with Article 5. So I wanted to let you know that Wyoming passed the Senate committee. So they got through. The last I told you was that they passed 2 readings. They got through the 3rd reading. So it has passed the Senate in Wyoming. So now it's off to the House. And it seems like Wyoming moves pretty quickly once they start. So, we'll see if Wyoming's going to be number 20. We have New Hampshire. We're waiting on them to pull off something. And then we've got and then today, Michael Arnold over in Massachusetts, I've had him on a few times. He's the state director over there. Signal messaged me a letter from his senator or his local representative. I think I wrote his name down. It was Stephen Zarhos, Xiarhos. So sorry, Stephen, if I got that wrong, but thank you, Stephen, because Stephen is going to bring House Docket 206 to the committee to be heard. He's going to present it. So we're making progress even there in Massachusetts. And if you remember last year, Mike Arnold had gotten it past committee twice in Massachusetts. So it looks like I'm having some issues with latency here. Let me shut down some stuff and see if this addresses the problem. Okay, I think that did it. I had some software open, I think, that was causing some issues. So we're back on. So, all right. Now, let me check out Rumble here for a second. So for those of you who catch us on Rumble, do me a favor while you're here, subscribe. We're trying to grow the Rumble, the Rumble followership. I've kind of used Rumble as a backdrop for a while, sort of a backup plan in case they all kick me out and get rid of me. And but in the end, like now I'm realizing after getting knocked off so many times by YouTube that what am I doing? Why am I not just promoting Rumble? So I am monitoring the live chat on Rumbles, but do me a favor, folks, and hit that subscribe button. I definitely want to, and also give me a comment as to where you're watching from. So far, if you look at the pros and cons in Article 5, all right, we're looking at much more good than negative. There were 2 hiccups. One in South Dakota, where it didn't make committee, and South Dakota has always been a problem. Montana was the other one, and Montana passed 2 readings. So it made it through committee, passed 2 readings, and then one person flipped, and it was a tie vote, and then that ended up killing it. Apparently, it was a Democrat representative. Not that it should matter, but what gets me about things flipping on the third reading is that, yeah, and folks, how are you, Danny? Thank you for commenting. Um, so, folks, for whatever reason, my software here is not showing me viewership right now, only on Rumble. So, um, if you're, leave us a comment, let us know. Here's Wild Stallion over YouTube. I think cause progress has gone too slow. Not enough states are taking it up. Yeah, Wild Stallion, you got to realize amending the Constitution is not easy, right? Every time it's ever been done, it took like 10 years, 10, 12, 15 years. It's not easy to get, and the thing that's aside from it just being hard, what makes this harder is that you have this poisonous cult of John Birch Society just infecting people's brains. But the good news is that even as they're doing it, like for example, even though Montana didn't pass the third reading, okay, but you know what? They're a lot closer than they were. What does that mean? That means a lot of people started reading in the legislature, right? Like that's what it means. It means, and this is what the grassroots efforts do, right? When New Hampshire passed to committee, one of the things the sponsor said was he was against this before. There was actually a bill there 2 or 3 years ago that he voted for to get rid of all requests for convention. And now he had a constituent approach him, one guy or girl, I don't remember which it was. One person, one constituent approached him. He sat down and had coffee with him, tea, and then the person gave him the information and was like, look, I just want you to read through this, because he admitted that he didn't know that much about it, but he had generally been opposed to it. And then he went ahead and started to become a champion for it, just like many of the leadership in cause action now, right? So you don't need to know any more about JBS except that they're in line right now. They're on the same goals as George Soros, and they actually, from what I heard, I got to look this up. Apparently, the little troll guy from JBS was that I beat up in that Scalia video. Apparently, they had him on InfoWars because he's like the perfect, let this guy come on and talk about how the elites are planning to usurp our country. Like this was perfect for InfoWars. But so I kind of lost a little respect for InfoWars there, because I think they were just pandering. But it tells me more so that they don't really read up on the issues that they put on there. It's for them to. I mean, I don't know. Maybe they'll have Meckler on and do it both ways. I don't know. But it sounded from the clip that I heard that they were just beating up. So Danny's watching from New Mexico or Little California. Yeah, I'm in Big California, the People's Republic, and I was just down in South Carolina. We passed through Virginia, a bunch of states, and I will tell you, much nicer people down there in general. Like people are just like organically friendly. Same experience when I went to Georgia. Just amazing people. And so I'm looking forward to going back around that area. And unfortunately, I don't think we found property there. But hey, if anybody knows about West Virginia, if anybody knows about property in West Virginia, good places to look. We're looking to buy like land. So we're looking to buy like maybe 20, 30 acres, whatever it may be. So, but we don't know anything about West Virginia. So if you know something, like good places to go, somewhere that's, not close to attractions, but within an hour or two, you know what I mean? Let us know, because it definitely will help me in trying to find that stuff. So just to recap, I think I did, but let me just make sure I didn't miss anything. South Dakota killed it. So South Dakota we didn't really expect South Dakota. So we didn't expect Montana either. So the fact that Montana got as far as it did was kind of shocking. But Wyoming has passed. New Hampshire has passed. We're still waiting on Idaho, Pennsylvania, North Carolina. North Carolina is looking very good. So these are all states that are coming up. So if you haven't, we're going to keep coming up as I get the information as to what's going on in these different committees, and as these things pass through these states, I'm going to be updating you regularly on that. And today, even though I have COVID, I still felt I wanted to do it yesterday, but I was flying all day and it was not a good day to do it. So I just did it today. But I'm going to be keeping you in the loop on these things. And for those that are not familiar with Article 5 and what makes this such a big deal, and why I look at organizations like JBS with such disdain, is that they're actively trying to undermine and usurp the authority and power of the American people. Like this is a group who claims to be conservative, and this is what makes them. It's the wolf's clothing, right? That makes them so dangerous. And it's just when you don't know any better, and you because we all, even if you know the Constitution, Article 5 Convention of States is not, a lot of people that gets by, right? So so it's not like, I get that. But I mean, in the end, like when they put up the graphic here, there's a graphic. I think I uploaded this because I tried to do it when, I tried to do it when, yeah. So look at this graphic. So it's a little bit blurry because I did it from my phone, but it happens to be here. So I'm going to go with it. Um, but look at the support ratio, right? So now people look at this and they say 50.2% support from Democrats. Oh, that's a majority. But that's not what I see. What I see is 74.4% are not opposed, right? And so when I look at that, I'm saying there's 24. I used to say it was 30%, right? But in the end, they're not short. And this is the thing, right? So more than half of the voters, right? Not these politicians, the voters, right? These are the Kennedy Democrats. These are the people who are still seeing. These are the Bill Mayors of the world that haven't completely lost their mind. And so when you look at it, right, even you got to add those two together and be like, that many people don't oppose it, right? Which means we just need to educate that many people. And that makes the task look a lot easier, right? If you know that 74% of Democrats, even, you've got 83, you got 90, 93% of Republicans. So 7% more of Republicans, which means that JBS is doing a horrific job, right? But when you look at the Democrat number for voters, this is where we have common ground. This is where we have to unite, because these issues are common sense. They're common sense. So we got Brian Maddox here, Fayette County, West by God, Virginia. Come check us out. You'll be welcome with open arms. Thank you, Brian. Yeah, we're definitely looking at it right now. I just, I don't know where to start the search. So, like, do we do it south or north, or, we're not really sure where to go. We're trying to build a family compound. So, like, and as well as, it can double as, like, a vacation property. But, that's kind of the goal with it. And we went to South Carolina, but it was a little too wet there. For our taste, it did rain while we were there, and it gave us a good look at what it's like when it rains. And it was little wet. Well, we'll see. Maybe we still have another property or two to look at, so we'll see how those go. But thank you for the welcome. And let me get back to this chat here. It's like tricky when you gotta when you're producing and doing all the side clicking, and it's a little bit nuts. So Lots down over on YouTube. JBS reminds me of someone sick who won't take the medication because they're afraid of the cure for some reason. Yeah, that's one way to look at it for sure. So they just accept the cancer they have. The thing about JBS to me is that in 16th and 17th Amendment, absolutely, I'm with you 100%. So, but the thing about JBS to me is that they like people that follow them don't even know about them. Like I learned more stuff about them, just knowing how ridiculous they were with their position on Article 5. Like, I had gone and learned more stuff about them, and this is an organization who adamantly promoted liberty amendments, as they called them, via a convention of states, and then didn't get them, and then did a 180 down the road. Like, any organization that does a 180 on an issue as big as that concerns me right off the bat. Right off the bat. And if you're watching this and you've listened to JBS and you're not aware of that, go to All Things Article 5 on YouTube. Kenneth Quinn does a great breakdown of how they did this. And it's very detailed. It's well sourced. He breaks down all the documentation. Like, that organization is true poison. And it's important, that our local legislators, who may have, been benign to JBS over the years, now have JBS people coming up to them and starting to bark in their ear again. It's becoming more that's what makes it challenging. If they didn't exist, and this is why it's so important for us to get it through. because even if they don't get ratified, like, because that's still a big hurdle to get, right? Like, we may get all the way there, and then only half where certain things get ratified. But what's important here is that the process completes, because when the process completes and we demonstrate that the founders are not crazy, that the founders knew what they were doing, and that yes, we can trust ourselves, and that no, the deep state's not going to get involved in our convention. They may try, but they won't. And the bottom line with the deep state, even if even if they try, at this point, it's so gone. I mean, did you see the Grammys? I mean, holy smokes. Like, it used to be a flashy symbol, of something demonic on the screen. It used to be, like something on the screen. You'd have to slow it down and see it. And they hid it in plain sight and all that. Now they're just straight up doing rituals. I mean, I remember Tom McDonald was saying, they get the fans to sing along and become part of the ceremony. Like it's there now. Like I thought that was an overreach from Tom, but then I start watching these performances and I'm like, no, no, he's spot on. He's spot on, right? And there's an existential war that we are in right now, and it's important that everybody understands it. It's important because it's a war against everything good. It's not just it's not just a war that's conventional, or China spy balloons, or what. Like, it's beyond that. Like, these people want to destroy everything Jesus and everything good. Like, I don't know if you saw that video. If you didn't, I'll try and find it for you. I don't know how much longer I can last here, guys. It's COVID, but there's a video where they were like, there was a security guard who would not let a guy walk through a store with a Jesus Saves shirt on, saying he was soliciting religion just by wearing the shirt. Like, crazy stuff now. Like, we're getting to a place where it's starting to make end of days seem believable. But I still think that we can fight back. And so I'm not going down without swinging. And swinging is what Article 5 is. This is the only bullet left in the constitutional gun that we have. JBS will tell you it's nullification. It's not. They don't even advocate nullification on different legislation. And if they do, it's so weak it never even makes radar. But, like, they don't, because they know that it's chaos. Like, if you just started if every state just willy nilly started nullifying thousands and thousands of freaking pieces of legislation on finance and everything else, like, it would be a cluster. It would be a cluster. This is the process that the founders gave us, clearly written, clearly there, clearly in the Constitution. And this is the process we need to take. And this year is looking great from the beginning. So we came into this year expecting to get, probably 4 to 5, right? 4 to 5 or so. And then, once the momentum, and that's the thing, like, once the number gets to 25, 26, 27, now it becomes very influential. Like, now people have to stop and ask themselves, how did these 25 states not listen to JBS? Like, how did these 25 states get around JBS? And hopefully they'll start listening to those legislators speak and tell their stories about how they were approached by JBS and how they worked there and how they read their way through that. How they read their way through that. All right. So, folks on Rumble, feel free to comment. I will shout out your comments. The live chat is on the right side of the video. So if you have any questions about Article 5, questions about Devils and Grammys, or any balloon questions, feel free to shoot. But then the balloon, right? I'm in South Carolina, of all places, when they take the balloon down in South Carolina. And like, I don't know about you guys, but, like, the media is going so nuts about this, but I'm looking at it like this is a troll operation. I absolutely, when I look at China and I look at the CCP and I look at the type of things they do and the excuse me, and the reasons that they do them, they do take actions just to see how people will react. And I think letting these 2 balloons go was just that. They just want to see, how competent are we? Can we take it down, in one piece? Can we divert it? Can we, what can we do? And I think they learned that, at least with this group of doo-doo-doos in office, that they've got they've got some this group of doo-doo-doos has some work to do. So, and I don't think anybody respects Biden or his administration. I think they all understand the WEF. I think this is how the whole thing plays out. The WEF wanting to take down U.S. currency because they want to implement their own digital currency. That's in line with what China wants, because China's convinced that their digital currency will usurp the WEF's. Okay, and it probably will, because they're buying gold and we're not. So they're not that they're going to back their currency with it, but they're buying gold. And if they have three times, let's say, the gold, and everyone says, "Oh, that's crazy," understand China never reports how much gold they have, and they're the number one gold mining country in the world. So, and they just went on a gold buying binge in the third quarter last year. So they are aggressively buying gold. So, and so are the BRICS countries in general, Russia as well, but just not on the level of China. But those are all hedged bets against the U.S. dollar, so that, like, these people are out there trying to destroy everything that we love and hold true, and they're trying to control every aspect of your life. And if I mean, look, if you guys have, outside of just chaos and revolution, which never ends well. Okay, revolution never ends well. Zero examples of revolution turning into an awesome thing. Hello, Napoleon, right? So it always ends up with some psycho. Like, our Constitution is awesome, and it needs to be wielded against these people. And even the protections that it gives us now has kept them at bay longer than most countries. But the fact of the matter is, we still need to, it eventually, if they keep chipping, if they keep getting buy-in, they get a stadium of people chanting on cult behavior and satanic, worship. Like, there, it's a matter of a few generations before you're going to have three generations in this country who don't even know the freedoms that are being taken away, who think hate speech is something that should be controlled by the government, and they're going to think that that's normal, and they're going to teach that to their kids. Like, that's where we're going to get, if we don't get back, if we don't stop and take back everything that is ours. That's what we're going to get. All right, let me see. All right, folks. So the last piece, I guess, I just wanted to touch on was the Madonna piece in the beginning of the devil worship. So I don't know what the hell happened to Madonna. It looked like some, like, robotics, like, android version of her. That woman has had more stuff done to her face than most buildings over the course of 100 years. But the fact that she came out and straight up said this is unholy, like, knowing that she's triggering, right? Like, knowing that this, because this is how Satanism works, right? So she knows she's triggering. She knows, like, she knows she's given Satan, that love, right? Because she's doing it with extra triggering and saying, like, we've put this choreographed piece together to be as unholy as possible, and then we went ahead and played it on national television. Now, fortunately, nobody watches the Grammys, so really nobody saw it until the next day. Because a handful of people watch it just to see what psychotic stuff they're going to do, again. But in the end, like, I don't know what people need to see this anymore. I don't know, I don't know. Like, even if you believe all the stuff about Article 5 and there's going to be a runaway convention and they're going to, like, how do you not see, how do you see another legal constitutional path to do this? Like the founders knew this would happen. It's not like at some point, it's not even about the reading, it's just about common sense. Like, they very well knew that we would be in the situation that we're in, and they gave us a path out. And now we've been so mind screwed by these people that we've been convinced that we should be afraid of ourselves. That the deep state will come in and there's nothing we can do. Like, is that the American way? That there's nothing we can do? Like, what America did everyone else grow up in? Like in the end, you tell me it can't be done, and I'm like, oh, we doing this. especially when it comes to friggin' to dirtbags like JBS and the deep state. Constitution through 15th Amendment is awesome. It's problematic afterwards, with a few exceptions such as 22A, 16A, 17A, cancerous, 19A, 26A have had electoral consequences. Yeah, look, I one step at a time, right? So like I want to get I want to get the main pieces in play, right? To me, this is the first time this is being done. So I'm not trying to turn this into a we're gonna 20 amendments or not 20, but you know what I mean, like a whole laundry list of amendments get taken out. The ones that are responsible for fiscal restraints, yes, right. I mean, 17th Amendment you could probably link to government overreach, but after that I think we're stretching a little bit. So and again, you don't want to be overturning a ton of these amendments, not in one shot, right? Like the idea here is to get the process done, get the schmucks like JBS and George Soros out of the way, so that the relationship between the government is changed forever, between the government and the people is changed forever, so that that relationship now involves the government fully understanding that the people can convene through the states and restrict its power in any way that we want, in any way that we want, right? And that's that. Like if we want to pass something, now mind you, you have to get massive consensus. So when I say any way that we want, it's only certain things, right? You're going to find a handful of issues that Republicans, Democrats, and Independents all agree on, and these are three of those issues, right? So term limits that we all agree. And trust me, the people who don't know, like that 24% or whatever Democrat voters that don't know, like they don't know because they don't read. They don't know. Same with the Republicans, and the same with the independents. Like they don't know because they don't read. And that's not an insult. That's just a challenge. Like look into this. Don't get adamant about going crazy about something until you've read it, until you've read it all the way through. Danny on Facebook, it's we or nothing. Yeah, that's right. That's absolutely right. There's no savior. There's no Superman. There's no politician that can be elected. There's no politician. Trump's not saving you. Trust me when I tell you, he's not saving you. It's going to be another. If he gets in, but it looks like DeSantis is probably gonna take. Because he's starting to implode now. But even if he gets in, like it's going to be another 4 years of yeah, the relationship with China, the border will be better. Those are things he can immediately impact. But like the debt clock's still going to be running probably faster than it does now. There won't be any term limits. There'll be no hope of that getting through. He has no power as president to do that. These are issues. These are the issues that need to be taken care of, that need to be addressed directly by the American people. I mean, that's just fact. That's just fact. And in the end, this is what grassroots have been doing, right? This is what they've been doing. I mean, Montana, if I'm not mistaken, didn't pass committee last year. Now they passed committee in two readings and almost passed the third reading, right? It was a tie in the third reading. I mean, that's progress, right? We're a year away, from getting them on board. Let's get some, like South Dakota. That's JBS country. I don't know that they'll ever get out of their zombie status. I don't know that it'll ever happen that way. But in the end, we can live without certain, like we need 34, not 50 to call it. So let's focus on, and the Democrats voters are going to be important. Like they're going to be important in that mix. The same ones, like plucking them. Look, those Democrat voters who are Kennedy voters, who still love this country, who still love free speech, who don't buy into all this madness and this transgender, this, that, whatever, men going in the women's room. Like they know that that's all crazy. Those people are disillusioned. They don't know where to go. They find that, like, I can't go to Trump. And they're like, but I don't want to go to these guys either. I don't agree with them. Where do they go? Like, and this is where we give them somewhere to go for the same, right? Because there are no Republicans and Democrats. There are only Americans and Marxists. Like that makes it palatable. That makes it palatable. Because when you break it down to just the Marxist, you're not talking about 50% of the country. You're talking about 20 to 30% of the country at most. At most. And that's including people that can't vote. So like this is where, we come in. This is where we have to bring the fire. We have to bring the heat. We have to bring the passion, and we are. And we are. I mean, look, passing committee twice in Massachusetts, like the grassroots that are out there are relentless. And just imagine, like everyone's like, this moves too slow, and I'm not saying this about you particular, Wild Stallion, but I'm just saying in a lot of people are like, it's too slow, it takes too long, it'll never happen, blah blah blah. So they don't do anything. Like those people need to do something. And the way you do that is you sign the petition. We have a link to it directly on our website, www.thepatriotthinktank.com, and you can go /cause/COS, and you'll see a sign the petition link right there. And then just click it. It'll take you over. You can go ahead, sign the petition, click the volunteer button, and grassroots are out there, folks. They're in your town. They will call you. They will call you. They will call you. They will tell you where they're at, what they're doing, what the local resolution is, who the representative is that they're trying to put pressure on, etc. There are district captains all over the country who are just waiting for more people to buy in. All right, folks. I'm at the half-hour mark here. I honestly don't think this COVID's really starting to kick my butt. So I think I'm gonna cut it a little bit short. And I appreciate everybody that came on, though. Just to recap, Wyoming did pass all three, so that it passed the Senate altogether. So we're just waiting for the House now, which is great news. And Massachusetts is getting ready. The senator or the representative, I don't know if he was a senator or a House, but he sent a letter. Mike Arnold showed it to me, where they're going to be moving. They're going to be moving the docket forward to committee there as well. So we're looking forward to movement there. And we still have Pennsylvania. We still have North Carolina, which is looking. North Carolina, everybody's really excited about. There's Kansas out there, Idaho. So there's a bunch still. So let's just go ahead. If you haven't signed that petition, sign it now. Don't wait any longer, because we don't have any time, right? These folks, when it hits, it's going to hit fast. And then it's going to be hard to turn back at that point. It's going to be hard to turn back at that point. So just, in the middle of an economic collapse, in the middle of, whatever other crises they have coming, the food supply, et cetera, like in the middle of all that happening at once, it's going to be very difficult to organize a convention of states, right? So we're going to need to get this moving quickly. And that's, that requires all of us to just step up, right? All right, folks, until next time, hopefully I get over this and I can put something together. I've been doing mostly lives lately, which don't get nearly as much viewership as the recorded videos, but circumstances are what they are. So, all right, I will see you next time. Try and get something out by this weekend.